in our industry, we don't necessarily get the right kind of advice, or when the advice is coming, we can't hear because there are certain zeros in the account. And what has that relationship with money been like for you?
I think that it comes at different phases, or rather, let me say my experience has been that it's different phases. In the beginning, you are working like crazy, still establishing a name for yourself, trying to figure out what exactly is your thing, because everyone has their thing, even if it's arranged, but you're still sort of playing in the space of your thing. And I think I didn't always necessarily look far ahead into the future in as far as what my money would look like in the future. What I should have done when I was younger is, alongside hustling, for lack of a better expression at the moment, is also figure out who would be the person who would give me advice on what to do with that money as it was coming in hot and fast. I don't think I was entirely irresponsible, because I did make some big purchases which set me up for life. But I do think that I could have done much better, because also it can be seasonal depending on what the demand is and what's currently happening, and what you have to offer and what's needed at the time. And so in some of the dry seasons, thank goodness I was smart enough to put a little bit away, but that little bit was a little bit. And then you feel the pinch, and then you go, oh my gosh, should I have done? Could I have done? Then there's family responsibilities. I'm not going to say black tax per se, but I mean, you're not going to not take care of what needs to be taken care of on the home front. And we've got extended families. And then you also have to kind of decide, to what extent do you feel responsible for all these people?
702.
The upside of failure.
Sometimes failure is the foundation of greatest success stories.
I don't know how much I'll be able to talk like a normal person because I'm so excited. Yeah! She is in the building. Ma'am, I feel like this has been overdue for years, but it's also perfect timing.
I feel like it's perfect timing. 100%. Thank you so much for having me.
How is it that in all the years we've known each other and been in this, we've never, no, you have interviewed me. I think
a few times.
You've interviewed me a few times.
I would have definitely caught you Kuseli Matunzi.
Yeah,
I stayed on almost for 100 years, it felt like.
Ma'am, the Selima Tunzi era, shout out Baby Joe. For
the best,
right?
The best in the
absolute
business.
Joe Carrera.
Yes.
But like I have been, and the reason why I want to interview certain people is because when I know you personally, and I feel like there's this light that has never been out there. Like, and I hope to draw out that light and just get to spread it, because I really believe you are one of those unique, authentic people. You have never changed from the time that I have known you. Whether you were stepping in for an audition or we're bumping into each other at an audition, you have been the same.
And we've done so many auditions in our lifetime.
Both didn't get. We've auditioned. Listen, there were jobs that I remember the one time we were auditioning for something, and I was like, of course you make sense for the show. Then we both didn't get it.
Yes. You know what? But I think it's part of that whole journey. But first of all, I really do want to say hello to all your listeners. Everyone has been riding hard saying, we are going to be on. We love her. She's the best. So for me to be with you on the show today is awesome. Enkosi kakhulu Sisi.
Firstly, you're not allowed to make me cry. I'm having a very emotional day today. And it started because my son wasn't listening to me in the morning. And then within like 15 minutes, it spiraled into I'm a bad mother. And then I was crying.
Okay.
And then I just needed to get it off my...
Let me tell you right now, you are a fantastic mother.
Days
are
Mama.
different.
Right.
Your baby is specifically assigned to you because you are the best person to take care of them. I know it can get a little bit crazy. Give yourself that moment to cry, shake it off, and then get back in the game. Trust me, if ebenokhetha kwakhona ebenokhetha wena. Okay, then I must remember to speak English today. Okay, sorry.
No, don't worry.
Just
Listen.
wink at me.
Listen, this is not Schlobs Winini. This is not Schlobs Winini. Okay? Shlobo Winini. Oh, the other time, actually, I just remembered we'd see each other all the time at SABC.
Yeah.
So I'm just firstly honored because I know you don't really do interviews.
No, almost never.
How come, if I may ask?
Because I am the one who facilitates the conversations. I don't care too much to be the subject of the conversation. I'm very clear on that. I'm comfortable with that. I love that. But every once in a while, I think it is quite cool just to circle back, because we do have people who support our journey, who have walked with us, who ride with us, whether it's good or bad or tough or amazing. And so sometimes it's nice just to give them a heads up on what we've been up to, what we've been doing, and one or two things that they want to know that they don't always see. So that's, but I only will say yes to people I trust. I was saying, Katrina, I was like, Lebs is a vibe. I'll do Lebs. No, nobody else.
I just remembered, because I had forgotten, we presented an award together at the Feathers. The one year.
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember?
How many feathers has it been now? About 16? They're almost on 20. We got to do the milestone again. I'll tell Tammy, when the 20th year comes, you and I must be on stage
reunited.
Again. Yes.
Firstly, you look amazing.
I did a 5-minute face for you because I was in my bed, in my house. I wanted to start the weekend early. Then I was like, I'm going to see Lebs. Let me go put a 5-minute face on quickly. So thank you.
Everybody's is like, I have to dress up to come. And I'm like, guys, to all the listeners, just see the pictures. I'm always the hobo in the photo. And the ladies, I said today, let me at least do a button up something.
And we've got our color coord going. A black
and
top
gold.
and denim.
Yes.
Although I did put a little bit of a heel on. I'm a sucker for a high heel. Angek.
Ma'am, your legs though.
Enkosi Ntombi.
So, in terms of, the whole industry and your journey, I mean, you have grown so much from being a Miss Teen. Did you ever imagine that your life would look like what it does today? And I'm not just talking the part of like, you've been on a presenter, you've been shows, but all aspects of it. Like, do you ever sit with your coffee or tea in the morning and think, this is my life?
It's actually quite wild, because I think every major milestone in my life has always caught me off guard. God has always done exponentially more than I could ever have imagined. Like, I'm cool just to be part of the crowd, in with the team, not the person in the spotlight for any particular reason. But God has really just shown me incredible favor. Like, I could never have imagined that it's almost 2 decades and I'm still in the space, still relevant for my people. It's not for everyone, because we're not money. Not everyone's going to vibe with you. But there are those people that we are called to and called for. And just to be able to look back and be like, we're still standing. It's 100% grace. I think the one thing that I was always certain about is my upbringing and that grounding and that foundation. I've always tried to build on top of that. And if there was anything that kind of threatened that authenticity of that, I stayed away from. And so to answer your question, did I ever imagine? 100% not. Am I grateful? 100% yes. And I can say the best is yet to come, because that's how God rolls.
And it's a tricky industry. I mean,
it is.
You speak about 20 years. That's a long time.
Almost.
So this morning, I call my dear friend Lyra to wish her happy birthday. And then
Miss Lyra? Is it her
Miss
birthday
Lyra,
today?
But she was telling me she's not Miss Lyra anymore, because this is the conversation we're having.
Okay.
I was saying to her, like, just how does it feel being, this age and growing and all of that stuff. And then I was telling her that there was a clip of myself and Lebomashila on my podcast.
Sure.
And somebody in the comments was like, these magogos must just go get their cats. So I'm telling her, and she's like, then she's like, people are calling her Mam Lira.
Sure.
And then I was like, I never in my world ever thought going on 40 is old. And the way that aging is perceived from our generation to the new one, it's like, I don't feel any pressure to want to be younger. So my question is, because that pressure's always there, of like, this person's not an it girl anymore. This one, gugile, that blah, blah, blah. How do you deal with that? Because to me, you look the same as I've known you forever.
You.
But also, I think that's a reflection of how you live your life.
Right.
Your energy. You don't dwell into things unnecessarily. So how are you navigating the getting older? especially in this industry.
So a few things to answer your question. One, I think it's always beneficial to have respect for those that have gone before you, because there's value really in the exchange of experience and those that are innovating and coming onto the scene, bringing new ideas and that kind of stuff. So I think in our generation, that was always a thing. Like nabantu abadala sasibebiza sisi okanye tata okanye mama okanye bhuti. So that's never going to go away for me because it's an African value that is important to me. So nathi xa sifika kweso stage when they are now calling us sisi. I'm 36 and I'm proud to be 36. All gold, give me a shout, please. We've got 12 months to do something. But I think I've enjoyed I've enjoyed every stage of my life flat out. My 20s, I lived flat out. There's nothing I want to go back and do there. Early 30s, I enjoyed that flat out. So now as I go, 35 plus, looking towards 40, I'm excited for what that holds because I'm also able to do things that I may not have had the maturity to do before.
All the money.
I didn't have the knowledge. All the money, which my kids box on toys, but we're redirecting that to books now.
Yeah.
But I really don't think that we should be intimidated by getting older. There's so much value in that. There's so much you can also share to the young ones. But for them to say we must go, we're not going anywhere. We're just maybe moving into different spaces.
Yes.
I know that I've moved a little bit more from the mainstream in everyone's face into the corporate spaces, which I enjoy and love so much. I continue to grow and learn and expand and ask questions. And that's a space I could not do when I was younger. So ziyashiyana izinto, and the industry is really big enough for all of us to have a space. I've never felt there's a competitive spirit. I learn from people. I celebrate my colleagues.
Yes.
And I'm a girl's girl. Like if you are doing something amazing, trust me, I find out about it, I'm the first person like cheering you on. So I'm not intimidated by that at all. And the young people must come and also throw their contributions in it. We all love the space. That's the thing about it. We love media and broadcasting. And if you've got something valuable to bring it by all means. Don't feel that someone else needs to go in order for you to have a space. I don't embrace that mindset so much.
I also think we grew up in the space. Like
100%.
literally, we were babas when we started
18
out.
Lebs.
17 for me.
Yeah.
It's like, it's wild.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is take a break.
Sure.
When we come back, we continue with Zizo. I try not to say media personality because I struggle with that term, Zizo Beda. How do you feel about the term media personality?
I mean, I'm not really attached either way, but I generally would say broadcaster and media entrepreneur.
Thank
maybe?
you. Yes. Broadcaster, media entrepreneur. Your calls on 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. You have really had the opportunity to play in so many spaces. Started out as a beauty princess because you were young and, went into television and you have gone into radio. You have done so many things and now, of course, you're playing more in the corporate space. When motherhood entered the picture, how did you change your choices when it comes to your career?
I think I really started to change considering the time factor. I made a conscious decision that my kids are only young for such a short period of time. And I had the privilege that I'd worked quite some time before I became a mom, that I had, the privilege of being able to be a bit more selective about what I did and didn't do. I think now I'm in a different space where they're a little bit older and they do understand that mom's also got a career. And so they're quite flex if I have to go somewhere or be away for a bit of time. And so now I'm taking on some more of those projects that sort of make me, travel.
Yeah.
But I was quite conscious about for X amount of time, I want to be home. I love school drops. I love pickups. I love after school and finding out what's going on, who their friends are. I'm there for practices, for sport. I'm there on the weekends for the matches. I put them to bed.
Are you doing lunch
that.
boxes? Because, we were speaking about it, I think it was earlier this week or last week, about the parents that Uber Eats their Uber Eats to their kids' schools, right? And I was just thinking about the fact that obviously parenting has evolved. In the freezer, I have those backup Woolies and Checkers microwave meals.
Yes.
And then I judge myself, right? So how are you finding that balance between wanting your kids to experience that same nurturing and attention that we got when we were younger with our grannies, but also the fact that we are working moms,
Yeah.
and sometimes the drive-through is the saving grace.
I think we need to give ourselves a lot of grace. And we hear this term a lot, but it applies really to parents. And also learn to trust your tribe. You've got a community of people to help you for a reason. Dad is there, mom is there, auntie is there, malume, makazi, everyone is there to help. It's not only on your shoulders. And because you've also got other responsibilities, trust me, you deciding to take a quote unquote shortcut to feed your kid, it doesn't make you a bad mom. It doesn't make them love you any less. I think that the things that we prioritize as parents are different. And so maybe meals is a big thing for someone else, but maybe someone else, the in-person quality time is a big thing. Maybe you don't miss bedtime. Maybe you don't miss drop off. So do what works in your family structure. Some people are single parents. Some people are co-parenting. Some people have that traditional nuclear family. Just go with what works for your family.
Yeah.
You're doing the best that you can. I drop balls sometimes in certain aspects. The other day, my kid confronted me. I won't tell you which one. You guys can guess. And he's like, Mom, I don't like how you said what you said. You know, you're like, did I do too good of a parenting job that they
then
can
what did you
call out my
say?
tone? Oh, I very much believe in we co-create the environment that we live in. Mommy will learn from you and you will learn from me, and we trust each other because we're a team. So if I did do something wrong, tell me by all means. I don't want to shut my kids down and make them feel like they're not seen or not heard, or that what they have to say is not important. And so I said, I apologize that I made you feel that way. Tell me, is there a better way mommy could have said this? And then we can develop the communication, because I can't assume that they communicate the way that I do. And remember, at the different milestones, you're also learning. So they used to be little and depend on you for everything. Then they kind of navigate the world a bit, and then they've got their own perspectives. And then they develop their own language and how they want to say things and what is important to them and all of that. So we're very open to engaging honestly with them, because we're preparing them for the world ultimately.
Yes.
So if he can't say to me, Mama, how you said it is not okay, then who will he be able to say that to when he's defending himself in the real world? So I'm telling you, raising kids is the best thing, and it's the Wild West at the same time, because they will keep you honest and and be like, we don't speak like that in this home, because they're playing back what you've been teaching them to you.
Ma'am, the one that I got this week was, Mommy, I'm waiting for you to apologize to me.
Oh, what did you do, Mommy?
I don't even remember, but my face, and my mom keeps saying, you got the child you deserve. And indeed,
injalo. Both my kids are so vocal, but their personalities are different. So I'm learning every day, and we can't just copy and paste indlela sasikhule ngayo and think we can apply all of that to them.
Also,
so
we know
co-create this
better.
environment 100%.
We know better. Do they know who their parents are? Like, as in the world, and like, do they know that mommy's famous? Do they know that daddy does? Like, do they understand that?
I don't think so. They do sometimes ask, how do these people know you? If people we don't know and we're running errands or whatever are saying hello and they're greeting and maybe they want to take pictures or whatever, they ask, how do these people know you? And then I have to explain it to them. But for them, it's not a thing.
Yes.
Like, it's really not a thing. And I don't think it's a priority for us to make it a thing to them. Funeka basazi singumama no tata, and that's about it.
And that is it. The upside of a failure at 23 minutes to 3 o'clock with Zizo Beda. And your calls on 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
I was like freaking out.
Why were you
It was right next to me.
Why were you freaking out?
Because I was fangirling. But I had to put my game face on. Love him so much. I will be listening again today.
Listen, he is
keep
what
that
we
between
call
the two of us.
an OG.
Right?
He is what we call an OG.
100%.
And it is so dope that, the colleagues in the building,
Yes.
they are all just awesome. In terms of having started early,
Sure.
are you a billionaire now because you started early?
What the kind of question is this one? Huh?
I mean, ma'am, by 18, Vaga. And then, talk to me about how you've managed, especially this unstable industry where, and I know you and I have had these conversations like, girl, we got to do what we got to do.
Yeah.
How have you managed, especially the money thing? And I don't know why it is that in our industry, we don't necessarily get the right kind of advice, or when the advice is coming, we can't hear because there are certain zeros in the account. And what has that relationship with money been like for you?
I think that it comes at different phases, or rather, let me say my experience has been that it's different phases. In the beginning, you are working like crazy, still establishing a name for yourself, trying to figure out what exactly is your thing, because everyone has their thing, even if it's arranged, but you're still sort of playing in the space of your thing. And I think I didn't always necessarily look far ahead into the future in as far as what my money would look like in the future. What I should have done when I was younger is, alongside hustling, for lack of a better expression at the moment, is also figure out who would be the person who would give me advice on what to do with that money as it was coming in hot and fast. I don't think I was entirely irresponsible, because I did make some big purchases which set me up for life. But I do think that I could have done much better, because also it can be seasonal depending on what the demand is and what's currently happening, and what you have to offer and what's needed at the time. And so in some of the dry seasons, thank goodness I was smart enough to put a little bit away, but that little bit was a little bit. And then you feel the pinch, and then you go, oh my gosh, should I have done? Could I have done? Then there's family responsibilities. I'm not going to say black tax per se, but I mean, you're not going to not take care of what needs to be taken care of on the home front. And we've got extended families. And then you also have to kind of decide, to what extent do you feel responsible for all these people? And then it changes, because then I became a mom. Then I had to start thinking about, hey, man, dependence, because I've got these dependents. And then you start thinking about their future. But money is definitely always a conversation that if you're getting into the space, you have to have early on. First of all, it's uncomfortable for most of us to speak about it. We don't even often speak to our colleagues about what is the competitive rate. We don't look even at our male counterparts, who often get more than what we get paid, even though we are doing the same work. And so there's a lot of dynamics that speak into what the money conversation looks like. And if anyone is listening right now and you're getting into the space, Jonga, contract yako, ne accountant yako, put them on your books immediately.
Yes.
Like, I've had to kind of start again now, a little bit later in my life, because then also COVID happened. And then we were smacked hard, because if, you were making a lot of money in a certain kind of space and that now is not available to you, you didn't diversify sufficiently enough, I can say, you were definitely impacted by that. So I think in some aspects, I'm in a recovery, and I can be honest about this because we should be, in a recovery space in some of that, but also some of it, is not as bad as what it could be. But that has definitely been something that I can say failed at, that I repurposed the positioning to go, now that I know better, what are the questions to ask? What do I need to know to set myself up for the future, so that my kids are not going to start on the back foot? They won't start from zero, but I don't want them to start on the back foot. I want them to have the freedom to be able to pursue whatever it is that they want, and not have to have the conversations that say, I gotta do what I gotta do. That should just apply to the discipline of being successful in life, not because there's a financial restraint or responsibility. Ask for help early. Like, don't be ashamed to ask for help. That's the one big thing that I think I could have maximized a lot more on going into. And kaloku sana abanye betu, we first generation business owners, first generation entertainment or broadcasters or whatever it is. And so awuqhelanga la salary yokubana ayike ndavuka ndaye emsebenzini month end, it is what it is. It's that 10 rand for 20 years. That's not what our setup is.
Especially the part of, like, there's no benefits. There's no and unless you're going into proper corporate, getting a permanent a job. But even there, things are not the same anymore.
100%.
Companies are fully aware that the economy is not what it used to be. And it is so tough. So we're going to take a call on 011 883 0702. If you can grab your headphones, we've got Tolo on the line from Centurion. Tolo, go ahead.
Hi, Tulu.
Hi, how are you, ladies?
Good, thanks. And you?
Good. So when I started working in 2007, Zizo was, obviously towards the end of her reign.
Yes.
And as an entertainment journalist, she was one of the first people that I got.
Tolo, what do you say?
I know this voice if you woke me up at 2 a.m. Tulu, my makeup, girl.
She is getting so emotional,
No,
Tolo.
listen.
Oh, my word. What a wonderful surprise.
So I was just starting off. Zizo was also just starting off. And, it's been such an amazing privilege to watch her grow. Even though we were, I was a little bit older, but even though we're in sort of the same age bracket, she has always been so genuine and grounded. There's this stigma or, as journalists, you always think, okay, this one's just coming to the limelight. Let's see what the limelight is going to do to them.
Sure.
And, the support that Zizo received from her siblings and her family, I think is what has kept her grounded all this time.
Yes.
And it's beautiful now to see her faith journey that she puts, online. When you've grown up as someone of faith and it's not always popular to put it out there. It's beautiful to see her come into her own in that space. But yeah, I just wanted to say, hey girl, hey.
Hey girl, hey. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Tula. I'm so happy to hear from you and thank you so much for your kind words. I still remember her beautiful smile. Every time you see Tula, she was always smiling, no matter what we're doing, no matter what's going on. Oh, I'm so happy to hear this, girl. Thank you.
Thank you so
for
much.
taking the time to
Tolo
call.
Modise. I mean, she is speaking about your family. And, at some point, you even touched on like supporting extended family and all of those things. At some point, nuclear family, as in you have a new nuclear family now. You had, the tragic loss of your mom. And I remember seeing those pictures, and I can never even begin to fathom how has that shaken and shifted you.
If I'm still standing having lost my mom, nothing in life will take me out. She was my absolute best friend in the entire world. I actually wear one of her, she had 3 wedding rings in the bands. This is one of them. I carry her with me in my heart wherever I go, but I can tell you for a fact, I know she would never have left if she knew we weren't ready to carry on life without her. I know that for a fact. The other thing that comforted me is knowing where her faith is. I have no doubt where she is. It's just difficult that every good thing that will ever happen in my life from this point onwards, she will never be a part of physically. But our family is a very tight-knit unit. Like, we ride. We're bad boys. And I think that's how we've survived this season. It's a very challenging one, but we will get through it. It's an unimaginable, you can't describe it. It's only someone who's walked that journey that can fully understand and grasp what it is. But the genuine love we have for each other, it's not just that we relate, we like each other. We like being around each other.
Friends.
We like checking in with each other.
Yeah.
And so it's wonderful to see that even without her here in the physical, we are still tight as a family unit. We had to teach our dad to use WhatsApp so he can call him and see him because he's still in the Eastern Cape and all the siblings are here in Johannesburg. But I can tell you for a fact, like, if I can survive having lost my mom, there's not one thing in life that will ever take me out. Like, if you think you've seen me do some dope things, like, the best is yet to come. Like, it's about to be all the way lit. Like, all the way lit.
You're getting such a big hug after this interview.
Yeah.
Because, yay, we continue the upside of failure.
702.
The upside of failure.
Proof that a setback can lead to a step forward.
10 minutes to 3 o'clock, the upside of failure. We're chatting to media broadcaster, media entrepreneur Zizo Beda.
Oh,
and
yes, you got to add mommy.
Oh, and mommy, because that's the most important job of mother. 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. When it comes to how you've managed, and I absolutely love that you have been consistent for years in how you manage your private life in terms of public spaces. You have never succumbed or felt like you need to respond to anything or anything along those lines. But while that is the case, conversations happen.
Right.
In terms of your most primary relationship and marriage and where you are in your life right now, what are you comfortable to share with people? I mean, I remember when I was speaking to my producer and I had to triple check, like, and this has happened so many times on the show. I'm like, which surname are we using, right? And it's so weird because it only will happen to the woman. And I try my utmost best to, obviously, I never get sucked into what's said online. I only am going to trust what a person tells me. Right. So today, you are a Zizo Beda, and you were formerly Chwete. And how have you navigated getting to where you are now with chatter, but also with what you need to be true to yourself about?
A few things. One, coming into the space to begin with, I wasn't anybody who entertained what people had to say. That was even before I went on the journey of marriage. People are always going to say something. And when you don't add to the craziness, it doesn't give the craziness credibility. My character is consistent enough that if you are a sensible human being, you would know what sounds likely to be the case or what doesn't sound likely to be the case. And if my inner circle of people know the truth of the matter, why do I care what xyz.co.za at xgmail.ntonton has to say? It's immaterial to my real life. Because also, I'm not an actor. I don't play a character and people are responding to a role and then they're talking about the role. This is my real life. So for me to safeguard it has always been important for me from the beginning. I've always felt a responsibility that I've got parents at home. So I'm not going to get sucked into that's just never been my vibe. Second of all, the agreement with me and the person I was married to started between us. So when that turned out the way that it turned out, it was between the two of us. Still, external voices.
Because you never invited us to be a part of it when you got together. Yes.
100%. And we always agreed that there will always be respect and we will always be on the same page about how we want to handle things. And that has never changed. The third thing is I have a family. We have kids. It is important to safeguard that primary, even before myself. I think about them even before myself. So for us, we haven't had an issue transitioning. We are not the first people to go through a situation like that. We won't be the last people to go through a situation like that. But we can certainly go through it like mature adults, which is what we've tried our very best to do. We are on the same page when it concerns our family, what we want to do concerning the kids. We have a real respect for each other and everybody in our family community. And that's the long and the short of it.
What is the biggest lesson you gained from that chapter of your life?
Live your life as authentically as you can in the moment. When things don't work out the way that you imagined, it is okay for you to take a different direction. No one is going to die. It's not the worst thing that could happen. It is an unfortunate thing that can happen, but life can continue very well and in a healthy way afterwards.
Some of your messages that are coming through, one says, Zizo is such a breath of fresh air. The wisdom, wow. Love her to bits. Since, because of her authenticity. That girl is the realest, Relebogile. I love you, Zizo. All the best for the future.
What is
Keep
that
on
person's
shining.
name?
So they didn't sign it, but I'm seeing their WhatsApp name says Pearly.
Thank you, Pearly.
Okay. And then another one that has come through saying your guest has such a beautiful voice.
Oh, yeah.
It
Put
is
me on
JB.
702. I can work here every day with you, Lebs.
Yes, come through, babes, come through. And we've got some voice notes on 072 7021 702.
Hey Rile, awesome show. I love Zizo. I love her. I first met her when I was doing a TV and radio presenting course with On Cue
Yes,
Talent
I
in
taught that.
2017, and she gave the class of ad-libbing when presenting on TV.
Yes.
And I remember she said to me, so yeah, my skin is as radiant as it is because I drink lots of water. And then my follow-up question was, so what do you do to keep your skin so radiant? And she was like, I just told you, I drink lots of water. Yeah. You know what? Ever since that day, she taught me to be an observant listener, to listen, because the answers have already been given, but then I want to ask again. But yeah, no, I loved her. She's so calm, so humble. Oh, I love Zizo. Pick up Zizo.
Thank you,
Norma here in
Cooks.
Randburg.
Thank you, Norma.
Good afternoon, Relebogile. How are you?
Hey.
You are with my daughter's favorite girl, Zizo Beda. You're speaking to Shadrach Mushabimapetlane here. Zizo.
Dr. Shadrach.
My daughter loves you so much.
Oh,
my daughter's name is Ntswaki Hope Mampetlane, but she calls herself Zizo. Thank you so much for inspiring my daughter. Thank you. Shadrach Mampetlane speaking to you from Orange Farm.
That is wild. That is so wild.
What is the one lesson, one sentence that you'll share with all listeners that you've learned about failure?
You can navigate failure gracefully.
You can navigate failure gracefully. And you are one of the most graceful women that I know. I absolutely adore you. Keep shining. Keep being the fantastic mom that you are. Keep being truthful. Keep sharing. And just, here are your flowers, baby. Here are your flowers. The upside of failure, guys. Thank you so much.
I want to say you are such a rock star. The work you are doing behind the scenes is so inspirational. You are telling necessary stories. You are putting such an important brick in our industry that young girls can look up to and reference and grow from and learn from. So I give you all flowers to you today as well. I love you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Love you.
702.
The upside of failure.
Sometimes failure is the foundation of greatest success stories.